What's up, everybody? I am Daniel, and this is my gym nemesis and overall arch enemy, Brett Mossberger. And today we are going to talk about how hard Brett Mossberger is on grappling dummies. This is his old Celebrity dummy. He tore off the arms, but they were already tearing off. The fabric has just completely shredded. How long did you have this, Brett?
It's about 2 years, probably.
2 years. So Brett is... I mean,
I shredded this to get the stuffing out, but it was on its way.
Yeah, you can see like all of these little portions where Brett has sewn in the past, and you've sewn him up at least a dozen times, isn't that right?
More.
Many times he's sewn this thing up, and it has torn apart, and a lot of it is due to this Celebrita. By the way, how many times has mine torn, and how many times have I had to sew mine up? Oh yeah, zero, because I'm not Brett. And Brett is like, oh man, here's my freaking grappling dummy. Oh yeah, get some. I actually do like actual micro transition drills and things that actually help my game and not just take out all of my aggression on the dummy. That aside, so this Celebrita is completely shredded. This canvas is, much thinner than, well, and it's gotten thinner over time, right? Like I can feel this is thinner than mine just from the wear and tear of the mat.
Now than it used to.
So anyway, he tore this thing apart. Obviously, the Celebrita is just not enough man for Brett. So Brett upgraded to this, which is like, how much did this cost, Brett?
This was $380 on ringtocage.com. It's their Ring to Cage MMA Jiu-Jitsu Grappling Dummy 3.0. And I think the distinction between 3.0 and 2.0 is that it has hands and feet, really. I didn't really actually look at the other dummies. But this was consistently the #1 dummy on every top 10 list that I could look at. But there weren't a whole lot of reviews, which is why I want to do a video review on it, just on my first impressions. So. First impression actually right out of the box is that the material is...
I'm sorry, you got this unfilled, right?
I did, yes. So it's $380 unfilled. You can pay $600 to have them fill it for you, but it's not really worth $220 for me. It took me 3 hours. I put on a movie and I stuffed it, and it wasn't that bad. It was kind of a pain, but it wasn't worse than the Celebrita dummy. So, and actually the worst part is that the arms are a separate compartment, and I don't know, you can't really see, but this is the size of the slit to stuff the arms, and this is the size of my fist. So I had to use a stick, actually, to stuff the whole thing. And then the legs are kind of long and thin, so I had to use a stick for those too. The legs are not separate. And then the hands and feet are separate, so I had to stuff those with my fingers and stuff too.
How did you stuff this hand?
I just
I see.
Finger curled the stuff in there, and then I used a shoelace. It comes with laces. There's no zippers.
So here on the back of the hand, you see this shoelace? Because I didn't know how you stuffed that. But we'll go over how these things are separate anyway here in a second. But
so the material feels really good. It's like so much thicker, and this is a polyester coated vinyl, and it feels like a punching bag to me.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna hold up. And looking on the inside, the stitching is really good. It's not like it's double stitched, and the stitching doesn't go right up to the edge, so it's not gonna pull through or anything like that. It's pretty firm stitching. And then the arms are actually bolted on with nuts and bolts. So the arms being separate, you don't have to stretch any fabric to make the arms move. It just puts pressure on that bolt, which is obviously never gonna break.
yeah. So both the hands and the feet are completely separate. And you can see like this is, I don't know, vinyl, and it looks like a vinyl in 1-inch webbing is what it looks like. It's 1-inch webbing that they like curled over, but that foot is like moves completely independently of the rest of the leg, and so do the hands. So the hands, these little paddles are, you can see that I can see through that thing, and they also, I think that's 1-inch webbing with just like a vinyl with a vinyl reinforcement, I think. Overall, this thing looks really weird, doesn't it? Like he looks
It's very lanky. It's kind
super
of a
lanky
Slender Man look. But once it's got a gi on and everything, I would say it's definitely not the size of me. It's about 5'8" and probably weighs about 35 to 40 pounds. With this is like fabric stuffing that I put in, like shredded cloth.
Yeah, he did this like traditionally. There's no pecs or anything in here. But I was working on it just a little bit earlier, and the even though he doesn't have the resistance that is in like the pecs dummies, man, his arms feel really nice. Like
yeah, they do resist, and they have a natural tendency to want to go to where an actual person would be. So, and actually the legs want to stay bent. You can see that he stays up on his own. So you can do guard work, and you can do standing versus a seated guard kind of stuff. But then when he's on his back, he's actually in a position that a person would be in. He's got his knees bent and everything, so he's resisting my pass, and I'll have to actually mess with his legs to be able to pass, as opposed to the cloth or the canvas dummy that I had before, where his legs or his arms would just kind of flop out to the sides in a totally unrealistic position. These are actually in my way, and the right length too. Previously, I was like arm barring the wrist of my own dummy.
Yeah, the Celebrita arms are, man, they're probably this long. Like you cut a good
like
18 inches off of this,
Yep.
and that's how long the Celebrita arm. These look like weird freak arms, but you can see like, I mean, I'm a weird freak too, but you can see like my shoulder, I'm actually past this. So even though it looks all weird and freaky and gangly, I mean, I'm not even gonna mention that. Yeah, I'm weird and freaky and gangly as well, but my arms are longer than this, and you bought this in the likeness of my own image, right?
Pretty much, yeah. He's just a micro Dan.
Yeah.
And he's actually got a realistic sized neck too. The Celebrita dummy's neck was at least as big as this head. Mm-hmm. So to even get your arm around was a chore, and it didn't feel like a real choke. But this it's skinnier than my opponent's would be, but I would say that his proportions are like that of maybe a 5'8", 130, 140 pound person, maybe.
Yeah.
140. So the body triangles and stuff are a little bit too easy, but I'm not here to like strengthen. I'm just here to get muscle memory and do reps and work out kinks. So
Okay.
I don't need it to be exactly my size.
So why don't you show us some of your favorite techniques that you do on the dummy? And one thing that he mentioned that I do like about this is look at the angle of the legs. Whenever he's just sitting down, like, I mean, typically when Brett is attacking me, I'm not just doing this like a regular dummy would.
You should try it. It might be more effective.
Right, yeah, that would be awesome. But anyway, the angle of the legs is really good, and if you're a heel hooker, man, this is fantastic, because a normal person doesn't just straighten out their legs like this.
And when I heel hook, it's moving the foot, so I'm not going to cause any damage up here to him. I mean, I can crank all the way across me, and it doesn't feel like it's stressed here. With the canvas dummy, I could feel the ripping point.
Yeah, because it was all one piece. It was all one piece of canvas there.
You could practically rip his neck by doing a leg lock. So what really strained the other dummy and the pec skeletons and stuff we made was Kimuras, because pecs and everything can bend, but it just can't twist. But this, this I can twist, and it does not feel like it's under pressure. And I mean, that's a pretty good distance to go.
Take it, see how far you can take it. I mean,
Just
that's
beyond
gonna be
anything realistic.
That's gonna be difficult.
Yeah. Arm bars. The arm actually kind of resists the arm bar a little bit, and it's actually long enough to realistically grab the wrist and everything. Before, when I was practicing arm bars, I was holding like down here, and I was worried about triangles with the arms being bolted in, but it actually works just fine. You can see his shoulder does abduct all the way up to his head.
Right on. So, if you could change something about this dummy, what would you change about it?
Well, I'm going to put a gi on it because I do like the coating, and it's sweat-proof, which is really nice, but my skin sticks to it. So I'm going to put a gi on it because if I get just a little bit sweaty, then it kind of gives me a road rash. And then the Velcro on the arms and everything too. Otherwise, I guess you could make a case for making it a little bit bigger, but probably unnecessary.
A question that I always get How much does it weigh?
It's probably 35, 40 pounds. I had not finished stuffing it this morning. I came here to get more stuffing, and it was 31 pounds, and then I really crammed some more in. So
this is something that I hear all the time with our dummy videos is like, well, can't you just make it heavier? Can't you make it heavier? And I mean, how would this thing be different?
Yeah, I'm not weight training with it.
Right, you're not weight training with it. If it weighed 200 pounds, I mean, it's still, so actually, that moves into the next thing. Show some guard work with it, because it is actually pretty good in the guard. If your partners have a tendency to not stand up in the guard and to stay on their knees like this, it's pretty realistic. Like, this is pretty much the posture that you normally see from somebody. Of course, it's a little bit, it doesn't resist as hard as a normal opponent, but as far as getting the muscle memory down, you're in pretty good shape to work from guard. Show your armbar from guard. Even from armbar from guard, it doesn't really want to move around a whole lot, even though it doesn't weigh a whole lot. You can hit that armbar from guard pretty nicely.
Really, all the weight that I need is for it to not flail around.
Right.
So this 40 pounds is not going to flop all over the place on you.
And your technique should be good enough where you're not moving the person a whole lot anyway. If you're reliant on that person's weight, if you do like, back in the day where you're like hitting your arm bars and you're like, you probably need to work on your technique anyway. So I think that just from me feeling it just here for this short period of time, man, it feels nice to have him and be able to, wrap him up, hit here, boom, underhook. I mean, that feels right to me anyway. So overall, like I said, is there anything you would change about this thing? Or, I mean, this is the best dummy that I've had experience with
so far. I've only had it for a day and a half. Oh, by the way, I ordered it off of ringtocage.com. I ordered it on the 18th. It arrived on the 22nd on my doorstep, which is faster than I would have gotten it on Amazon or any other website. I mean, one day in, I don't have any faults that I would change on it. I'll probably do another review like 6 or 12 months in to see how it's held up.
Let's do a year because, man, after 2 years, who would have guessed
it's disintegrated?
That this would have happened after a couple of years. Like, that's insane. That's insanity. So, man, this is obviously better built than the Celebrito because it's also 4 times the money.
Yeah,
which it should be.
It's $380, but if it lasts me longer, I bought that thing for, I forget, $70 or something like that, the Celebrita, and then I built a skeleton for maybe $20 plus the stuffing. Then I built another skeleton later. So
that's 20 more bucks.
I was gonna, and the man hours into restuffing it and building the skeleton,
and so
this is worth my money.
Well, the 18-ounce vinyl, that's the same stuff they make truck tarps with.
So is that right?
It's exactly the same because that's what we made the old mats with. So
they
trucks
hold
you
up
see
to
going up
that.
and down resisting snow and salt and sun is your dummy.
Right on.
So perfect.
All right, do you have anything else to add?
That's it.
Right on. All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Do it right.
Hard work,
Hard work. Here we go.
hard work, work.